see the pillar in the distance there now? And you think, oh, that's just a good-looking pillar. Until you see it with people next to it. And you realize that this is a monster pillar. So what's so special about this pillar? When it had its statue on it, it would have been well over 100 feet, but as it now stands, it's probably closer to 88 feet or maybe just under 27 meters. The weight is estimated at over 280 tons, hence it's referred to as a megalith. If that is not enough, the stone is actually rose granite, which is rated at 7 on the Mohs scale of rock hardness. If it could have easily been moved, it would already have been stolen already by one of the, let's say, more modern countries. The accepted history is that it was a triumphal pillar for the Emperor Diocletian in about 300 AD. It had a statue on top of it of the emperor in full armour and posing triumphantly, as you would expect. A tile was actually found that's believed to show the statue in situ on the pillar. So this is actually the tile itself that I'm showing you now. Now, I don't doubt that the pillar was in fact used for that purpose, but the Romans were kind of notorious for reusing items that they found. If the Romans actually had the skill to create pillars of this size in one piece, rather than as stacked drums of stone blocks, then I'm pretty sure they would have done more of that sort of thing. What do you think about that? It was erected on the site of the Serapeum of Alexandria, as I said at the start, and that is a much older site than the Romans, and that site is dedicated to Serapis, who, according to the Hellenes, I think, was either the consort of Isis or a male counterpart or something along those lines. Anyway, Serapis is supposed to be a city guardian god, and so it's interesting how Diocletian chose to take on that same title, but without the god bit. So he wanted to be called a city guardian. His statue was in bits by the 18th century, and it was found, scattered around on the floor, and where it is now, no one knows. It has since disappeared, and it's probably gone into the collection of, into private collections around the world. But that's just a guess. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. What do I actually think of this pillar? Well, in my opinion, it's an artifact of a much earlier epoch, earlier even than the dynastic Egyptians, earlier than the pre-dynastic Egyptians. I think that it is from the time of Zep-Tepi, the time of the gods. In my opinion, this item came from around the Giza Saqqara area and was transported to Alexandria at the time when they were building the Serapeum. I think this was one of at least 2 pillars that was in the temple of Serapis on that hill in Alexandria, but it came from somewhere else before and was reused by the Egyptians. So I ended my little tour in the cafe, which was really nice, and had an orange juice.